Hi, and welcome to the Weather and Water Training Kit. My name is Karen Zeminski, and I'm going to talk to you about Investigation 5, Convection. Embedded in this unit, titled Convection, is also the concept of density, which leads to students needing to understand mass and volume as well. Because the information contained here is so great, I like to include small parts of the overall goal into my daily content objectives. That way I'm sure that the kids are on their path to meeting the entire goal by the end of this action-packed investigation. There are 3 parts to this investigation and a short additional activity within the first part as well. Part 1 is actually my favorite part in this kit. Students will be able to layer their own little vial of water in a straw. Now they're actually using different colored water with a different amount of salt in each. However, I don't tell my students that at first. I just let them think it's colored water to try and build their excitement and get them a little bit extra curious. As they explore, I also like to provide each group with a sheet of white paper so that they can help to read the results better. Putting it behind the straw will help them see the actual layers and actually watch the individual parts of the water start to mix if it's not the correct layer. When they're finished, they can also cover their straw with the same paper so that other groups don't see the answer. As students are recording their trials and errors, it's also the perfect time to circulate and ask groups why they think the water is going to layer or why they think it's not layering in a certain way. Therefore, you can start to introduce density and they'll have the layers on their mind already. The transparency provided is very helpful as a visual for students when they begin learning to calculate density as well. Another essential part of this investigation is having students look at the difference between a cup of beans and a cup of foam cubes, similar to what we used in one of the earlier activities with the syringe. This is another way for students to actually see density, and it helps some of them to get a better overall picture. After finishing the second part of this investigation, be sure to have students complete the reading in the student resource book. This will solidify the concept of density for them as well. Notice that I put a tip on there that there's also the same clip using these balloons on FOSS-Web, where a woman is holding them all even, and when she lets go, you'll see one of them float, one of them sink, and one of them slowly sink. That's very beneficial for the students to see as well. The final part of this investigation is the convection chamber. Very cool. On a side note, be sure to have the students with asthma sit towards the back. The smell of the incense is very strong and it tends to irritate some of the more sensitive students. Also, you'll need to make sure that you bring ice this day, because you're going to have ice to put on the very top right here. You want to put it on the aluminum cover, but you want it leaning on and around as much of the tube as you can in order for this to work well. The chamber won't work without ice. But all in all, once you get the cycle going and you facilitate a good suction with the funnel, the kids can see the convection happening firsthand. Because it's not something we recreate often, I also like my kids to copy a diagram of the activity into their science notebook for future reference. This is another thing we go back to time and time again when discussing types of heat transfer. And that is all for Investigation 5.